Welcome to the Adventures of the Black Square. This is an exhibition which focuses on geometric abstraction. Its very distinctive origins lie in a single work of art by Kazimir Malevich. This exhibition has 4 themes, and they're emblematized by 4 works at the beginning of the exhibition. The first one, the Black Square, represents Utopia. In some ways it was the end of art and the beginning of art. A black square might look like a kind of death of art. There's no imagery, there's no narrative. It looks as if it's a full stop, but in fact, it was to become the springboard for one of the most protean, most exciting, and global phenomena in the story of modern art. The second theme in the exhibition is architectonics. That's symbolized in a painting by Lyubov Popova called painterly architectonics. It was a word that was bandied about by young artists in Russia and in Holland and in Germany, and it was how they could take work off the wall and into actual space. Our third theme is embodied in 2 beautiful graphic works by Gustav Klutzis, also Russian, and he chooses to draw a series of megaphones. The black square, or the idea of the monochrome, was absolutely tied up with the idea of communication. It was a way of transcending language, culture, geography, and perhaps most crucially, class. They felt that the monochrome was a universal language that anyone could understand anywhere. Paradoxically, most people struggle with it. The 4th theme in our exhibition is the everyday. How did geometric abstraction become part of everyday life, material culture, and our day-to-day routines? After the Second World War, when all the great avant-gardes collapsed, there was a huge exodus of great artists to North and South America. What this exhibition traces is the baton being passed over from Europe to artists in Venezuela, Argentina, Brazil, and Uruguay. In the post-war period, those artists seized the language of geometric abstraction as a way of claiming a new ground for modernity in South America. Their great hero, Mondrian. Where the Russians dreamt of a kind of dynamic industrial revolution, Mondrian, by contrast, talks about equilibrium and harmony as a way of making an analogue between an aesthetic and the way he felt that society could be organized. But when the military juntas come into power in the late 60s, again the movement shifts to North America, and the exhibition takes us then into New York in the 1960s and 70s. How does a square multiply? Well, of course, through the grid. And in the 1960s in New York, artists seized on the grid as a way of creating a work that could expand and contract infinitely. This is a work by Carl Andre, great American artist who takes sculpture off the vertical and off the plinth and creates an entire environment. A paradox of the birth of geometric abstraction is that even though the form was so silent, it was accompanied by a torrent of words. Artists loved manifestos, magazines, creating platforms where they could explain their revolutionary ideals. This installation by David Batchelor is a perfect example of the legacy of the Black Square, of geometric abstraction being absolutely embedded in the everyday. Looking at them, a colleague remarked, they're also about pure hope, because the idea of unrealized futures is represented once again by the white or the black square.